extremely dominant in the paint for the Gators all season long, as he now leads the NCAA with 8 games where he's recorded 15 or more rebounds. The next closest is 5 games. On Saturday, the Gators will take on Ole Miss for a noon tip-off on 1010XL 92.5 FM. It's 81 degrees at 2 o'clock time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, Lauren Brooks, Taylor Dahl, and Tom McManus. This is
Helmets and Heels.
Helmets and Heels on 1010XL.
The gang's all back together as Tom is back in studio. Welcome back, Tom.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back with you girls. And, a tough day yesterday, 2 days ago. My mother passed away, so, that's always tough and sad at the same time, but in a much better place. We're all good. Everybody's good. We're happy that she's no longer suffering, but needed a day to just kind of chill out and did a lot of thinking about her. And my brother Bob, he's the same, man. He took care of everything. He just takes, he's the wolf, he just goes in and takes care of stuff and the hard stuff that nobody else wants to do. I was always like the emotional support dog, you know what I mean? Like I'm just there to make you laugh and, hopefully make you smile and all that kind of stuff. But I do want to thank everybody on social media. You guys are really kind. Facebook and Twitter, just fantastic. I really appreciate all the love and support. She was a big Jaguar fan. She loved that I played for the Jags. I swear I should have hired her as my PR later in life because she would tell everybody and anybody, did you know my son? I was standing right there. I'm like, Ma, you don't have to say that every time we meet somebody. She's like, well, you played for him? I'm like, I know. It's all right. Whatever. I should have hired her a long time ago. But, God bless you, Ma. You did it right. She was a great mom. Both my parents. I'm very blessed that we had great parents. Great way to be brought up. A lot of tough love, but a lot of love and a lot of togetherness. So, and also thoughts and prayers to anybody else going through it too. I know how hard it can be to say goodbye, and the kids, like my 17-year-old, first time she's ever experienced anything like that. So it's challenging. That was challenging, but
it's so emotional.
It is. It's very emotional. But look, we believe in heaven. We believe she's in a better place, and her and my dad are reunited after all these years. Her parents are up there, her brother, all her friends. So it was time. It was time. She lived a great life. 94, almost made it to 95.
Wow.
Think about that. Almost a century to be living. But she was great. But thanks for allowing me to say that. And thank you guys for the support and holding down the fort and all that good stuff.
Of course. As I texted you, your parents did a fantastic job raising y'all.
You got to meet the brothers trio this weekend. Yeah. You sure did.
We had met Mike in Vegas. So we got to know him there. And then, getting to meet Bob, who lives here. I'm surprised we hadn't met him before.
I know. Yeah. I was like, how have I met the brother that doesn't live in Jacksonville before? But it's fine. Right. Yeah, we love Mom. She gave us the McManus brothers, and you guys are fantastic.
That's right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to be back. Good to be back talking here on Helmets and Heels.
By the way, the U.S.-Canada hockey game when it comes to women's hockey is ongoing. They're now in the second period, and it is scoreless. When we left the studio yesterday, it was scoreless between United States men's hockey and Sweden. Yeah, that game, I don't know if you had a chance to watch that game. No. Okay, so Taylor can certainly take you through it better than me because part of it I was driving. But the United States scored, and it was 1-0 for the longest time. And then in the third period, game's almost over. Sweden scores with like a minute
20 or something like that. It was done. Yeah. I didn't leave work because I was like, I can't leave. I have to finish this game. Yeah. So Trent and I were in our office watching, and it was one of the most, like, the whole game was pretty intense because a 1-goal game, can shift so easily. And the whole third period felt like it was just all them the entire time. It just felt like USA was hardly getting any chances, and when the few they did, it would be like second chances and the puck would fly away, and you were just trying to you're like, just steady it. Sometimes you just need to start wearing out that opposing goalie, and they just didn't get the chance to do that in the third period. So I was just waiting. I remember with about like a minute 45, I looked at Trent and I was like, man, they're wearing out our goalie at this point. This is when a goal happens, is when that goalie is constantly having to make saves, because at one point the US had like double the amount of shots on goal, and then that quickly changed once the third period hit, and it just felt like it it was all them. And so it kind of came down to, that minute 20 happened. Super stressful last minute 20 because USA ended up having a couple shots in that final minute. So you were like, oh, maybe they'll do this. And there's just final 50 seconds. That's all it takes. You need a couple seconds. I always go back to the Blackhawks one in 2017. They scored 2 goals in 17 seconds. And that was like the whole thing. So I'm like, it can happen. Like, just take it. I don't want to go to overtime. Overtime hockey. I also hate the 3 because it goes to 3-on-3 in overtime. And that's kind of like a gimmick for the regular season in the NHL because you score pretty fast. So people want goals and you want it to not take forever, and you don't want these guys to be in like triple overtime and in regular games in the NHL. But when you're doing this to like win everything and go to gold, you don't want it to come down to 3-on-3. Right. It's just not ideal for you. So I definitely didn't want to do that. They have Nylander is one of the best 3-on-3 hockey players, and so that immediately I was terrified of that. I was like, this is definitely not in our favor, but USA pulled it off with Hughes. Obviously, they're brothers on the USA, and they've accounted for half the goals between them two, they've got like points, assists, goals, things like that, but half of the USA goals, they were factored into those goals. So these Hughes brothers have been a huge part of USA hockey in this tournament, and it's fun. And unfortunately, Canada just scored against USA women's hockey. So
pretty much right after I said it's scoreless.
Yeah, you did.
Thanks a lot, Canada.
This is the first time in the tournament USA has not scored in the first period, and then now Canada's up 1-0 in the second.
Certainly tons of time left, but this is for the gold medal, so they're going to leave it all on the ice.
Yeah,
no doubt.
JJ texted me yesterday, and he goes, was that you screaming in the back of the building? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, okay, I figured either USA won or something's happening to Taylor right now. After they scored that winning goal, it was very exciting.
I was home by the time the third period had started, and so I put on a USA tank top, and so I'm convinced that I'm the reason.
Did it.
You at least
I literally ordered a new one today. I was like, I need something new. Because I have like a t-shirt and I haven't been wearing it. I should have worn it honestly yesterday, maybe tomorrow. But I'm like, I got to get these vibes going because it's taken too long for them to score in general. And I said that yesterday on the show. I was like, they've been starting too slow, and it's taking like halfway through the second period to get USA really going, men's hockey that is. And it showed yesterday, and it almost hurt them. Granted, Sweden's really good. It's the first time that USA has been able to beat Sweden in the Olympics since 1960. So it hasn't been an easy feat to do anyway. So congrats to USA men's hockey, and they move on.
That's right. And during crosstalk, we were joking with Hayes that he's gotten some score predictions for Florida men's basketball, like either close or right on the money.
Oh, okay.
And so I was like, well, tell us the score of this, US game. And he was like 2-1. The United States will win 2-1. And then the game ended. I was like, it was 2-1. Maybe we should go back and make sure we know his exact score prediction for Florida Ole Miss on Saturday, because I feel like
there's something there now.
Yeah, he's got something right now.
He does.
Did you ever play hockey, Taylor?
No.
Okay.
Oh no. I wish, honestly. I feel like it would be fun to. I am not as aggressive nearly as that. So I say that it would be fun, but I wasn't aggressive enough for basketball, let alone for hockey. So that's part of that. But it is obviously, Tommy, it's big up there. Hockey's huge. Every kid's playing hockey. You see the rinks in the backyards of, people. They just make their own, or there's like community ones, and it's just everywhere. That's one of my favorite things about what the Iceman have brought here to Jacksonville. The Igloo is incredible, but giving kids now the chance to start hockey so young. I have multiple friends who kids at 3-4 years old are out there learning to skate now, and like you start with the little grandpa holder thing that you the little guide. I don't know what it's called, like the walker thing, but it's like an ice walker.
Yeah, right.
And you start with that. You just learn to get comfortable on skates.
Sorry, grandpas.
Yeah, sorry, grandpas. But then it just progresses, and to watch them then get into pads and start learning how to you hit the puck a little bit and stuff like that. It's so cute. And so I do think that's cool though, because we just didn't have the opportunity. If you were someone here in Florida before, you would have to travel a lot to South Florida, to Tampa and areas like that for your kids to be able to have the chance to learn hockey and play hockey. And now the Iceman and the whole organization has done so much in helping kids get in that now. So it's fun, because I think that now we're talking about all these people, we've seen the speed skaters with the, what's her name? Erica Jackson. What's her name?
Aaron Jackson.
Aaron Jackson.
Yeah.
Yep.
So people from Florida, that it's really cool to see those stories. I think we will eventually. You're talking about 10, 15 years, start seeing like, oh, this is a hockey player from Jacksonville, because now they have the opportunity to do that as kids. And it
We
just
already have such
wasn't
good
available.
athletes in all the other sports.
Yeah,
No
might
doubt.
as well add it.
We
Yeah.
sure do.
pumping
There's a
out
ton
some
of talent in Jacksonville. This game, the women's, they're getting chippy. They're starting to really
Oh, they will
get
chippy.
after each other here. You know, I always found like when I noticed hockey the most at Boston College, and we would share the weight room, and those guys smelled to high heaven. I don't know if it's the gloves, you know, but
Yeah, probably
holy
the
cow,
pads.
it's a certain kind of BO. And it was, they'd walk in, you'd be like, oh no, the
God,
hockey
they're
people are
here.
here. You know, it's like, we got to finish our workout.
I remember
and
that
get
when
out.
my brother got into skateboarding. It's the sweat that gets onto the, like in skateboarding, obviously the pads.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's not just sweat. It's also
Yeah.
sweat that then gets
There's
trapped
sta-
on
yeah, and
something.
stays
Correct.
and
And
Yeah.
that was the worst smell BO-wise I've ever smelled, was like
Yeah.
getting in the van after my brother went to Kona with all his friends. I was
Yeah.
like,
You're like, I'm gonna throw
roll the windows down.
I gotta breathe.
Physically roll the
Did you
windows down.
did you know Jeremy Roenick went to BC for a week?
I didn't actually.
Yeah, he was same class, but he left like I don't even think it was a week. I
Yeah.
think he left after like 3
didn't know
days and went right into the pros. Yeah,
I
Just a
almost,
week?
Yeah,
he
yeah,
was
he's
like,
like,
that's
I'm
enough
outta
for
here.
me.
yeah.
Jeremy, this is a fun story because I don't even play golf, but I almost played golf with Jeremy Roenick one
Okay.
time because I had a friend who plays golf with a bunch of different, like he's just kind of got lucky and met a bunch of people out on the golf course, and Jeremy Roenick was one of them. And he was like, hey, if you want to, like, I can get you out here and we could do a round. I'm like, well, I don't know how to play golf, so I'll drive the golf cart for you guys if you want. It never ended up happening, but I would have loved to chat with him about some
Heck
fun
yeah.
stories.
He was a great player.
Yeah.
Great player.
I don't
Long
play
time.
golf, but I can play music
Yeah.
and I can drive a
I'll
golf
drink
cart.
with you
There you
guys.
go.
All right, we'll get into some Jaguars
There you
football
go.
on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Ever wonder how Rick Ballou got hired at 1010XL?
I had a sales job where I was driving around a lot listening to talk radio. I started calling in, and then I realized I'm smarter than everybody else.
Evenings on 1010XL.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
Tara Loggeman here for Local Fair Jacks. Fresh, local produce, eggs, and meat delivered right to your door. It's where Jeff and I shop because we know exactly where our food is coming from. There's no scary recalls, just trusted local farmers. Visit localfairjacks.com.
Gators in the morning, Florida for lunch. A late night Gator snack. Whenever you're ready, the Gator Podcast channel is too. Set up by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists on the video and social channels of 1010XL.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Duval Fence is looking for the best in fence installers. Check out DuvalFence.com right now and fence in a great job opportunity. From estimates to installers, they're looking for you right now. Log on to DuvalFence.com for all the details. Equal opportunity employer.
Looking to elevate your game night experience? Look no further than Best Bet. We're not just a card room, we're your destination for excitement, fun, and big wins. Whether you're a seasoned player or new to the game, we have something for everyone. Join us at Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, or St. Augustine for thrilling tournaments, exciting promotions, and a vibrant atmosphere that will take your game night to the next level. Elevate your game night at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Get a healthy start in 2026. The Florida Department of Health in Duval County is here to help you get healthy and stay healthy all year long. Our dedicated team is committed to providing high-quality care and trusted public health services for our community. Our mission is simple: to protect, promote, and improve the health of you and your family. Learn more about our programs and services by visiting duval.floridahealth.gov.
If you or someone you know are having a special day soon, perhaps the birth of a baby or a big birthday for a senior citizen, Coen Flowers will send the perfect arrangement. JJ LaSelva here with 1010XL, and I've personally experienced the magic of a Coen Flowers delivery. Log on or call CoenFlowers.com.
When you head out for a night with friends or going to the big game, don't forget the best game plan to win the night is to designate a driver and guarantee a safe ride home. Hydrating between buds is the best play you can make. Bud Light, reminding all to drink wiser.
Hi, I'm Janice. I'm a coach at Awaken 180 Weight Loss. When a client reaches the goal that they've set, they are so proud of themselves. They are so thrilled with how they look and how they feel. They are ready to take on the next thing. And that's one thing about weight loss. It's so much more than a number on a scale. It's about self-respect. It's a momentum thing. Now that I've lost 50 pounds, wow, there's no reason why I can't do this next thing that initially seemed so daunting, but now I know I can do it. The celebration is not just how much better you look and feel, but how much more self-respect you have. We get on a track of success at Awaken 180 Weight Loss.
Hey, it's Matt Hayes. Losing weight with Awaken 180 isn't about the number on the scale. It's about how that number spearheads endless success. Bring your goals to Awaken 180, then celebrate when you check off each and every one of them. Call 844-346-1800 or online at awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
We just trying to catch a good time, even if it takes all night.
Very excited to see Nico Moon in concert tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Second time coming to the Ponte Vedra Concert Hall. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. All right, let's talk a little Jaguars football. That was certainly a good time this past season for, 8 weeks in a row with the wins, but certainly even before that with the win in San Francisco, the win at home over the Chiefs at Monday Night Football. So I was having breakfast. Frank and I were with our friend Chad from South State Bank, and he was talking about how much he admires Liam Coen's leadership. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden I was like, wait, what's better? Liam Coen's leadership or Liam Coen's play calling? And I feel like the Bills game, we have a sour taste in our mouth a little bit because he should have given the ball to Bashal Tutin more with the way that he was able to run against that defense. Mm-hmm. But overall, obviously his play calling was much better than what we have had here previously. But Tom, I'll start with you. Leadership or play calling if you have to pick just one?
I'm going to go leadership because if you don't have that, the other stuff doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like I think just his approach, I like how he is, just as a person. He just seems, especially as a coach, he's just so into it. And they all are. Don't get me wrong. It's not like, he's the only one that's fully immersed in his career, with being a head coach. But he walks the talk, he backs it up with how he is. I love that Baselli's in there because I know what kind of guy he is, and I know what that character means and what that culture means. And they're all stoners, all part of the same cloth. They're all, that, listen, we got to have guys that love football, that's all they care about during the season. They're trying to be the best every single time. They can handle critique when we give it to them, and they'll enjoy the praise we give them when they do well. I think his play calling's great. There's no doubt. I think with play calling for me, though, I want to see this year. Like, they got him on tape. Like, there's something to that. I'm not saying he's not going to figure them out, too, because that's the whole cat and mouse game, right? Like, they try to figure you out, and then you're like, oh, you're going to try to figure me out. Well, let me throw this at you. Then you're going to be thinking, well, what the heck? I didn't think that was coming. You got to try to outsmart the other coordinators,
Do you think he held some of the offense that he could call kind of back a little bit because it was such a Brady system?
Early you think you'd have to, with all the mistakes that were happening, the pre-snap stuff. Yeah. You can't feel that comfortable, when you got too many pre-snap penalties. Right. But I just like the way that he, I love the way he talks about his dad, how influential his parents were, how he, coaches the game. He coaches them hard. But he shows love too, and we all like that. I know as players, you can coach as hard as you want, as long as you show us some love too when we're doing well. And he does that. The celebratory, locker rooms, the days off, they were well deserved. So I think he gets it, and he knows. He knows. You heard him in his this past week in his team meeting. Year 2 is the big one. Like, we don't want to be a one-hit wonder. That's in his mind. Like, I like that. I like that because that has happened many times before. We've talked about it here on the show that you do a great 1 year and then the next year you fall off the cliff. Well, we don't want that. We want to go back to the 90s when we were playoff. Like, that's what they're trying to build. So I think they're on the right path. Obviously, year 2 is extremely important because everyone's got you now. You're not sneaking up. You're not, coming out of nowhere. They know exactly who you are, and they're going to be very interested in what you do this offseason, as we all are. And then they're going to try to figure you out. So it's going to be a tougher road in year 2. That's okay. They could be 11-6 and be a better football team than in 25. You know what I mean? It just depends how that all works out. So I think his leadership and by the way, it trickles down all throughout the staff.
Oh, yeah.
They all coach the same way. And that's what it's got to be that way. It's got to be from the head guy all the way through, even the medical staff, even the weight room staff, even anybody and everybody in that building. It's got to be the same. This is how we do it. We do it tough love. We coach them up. We make sure they know exactly what they're doing. We're going to be hard on them at times. We're going to love on them at times. And we're going to make this thing work. And I think it's shown early. And now it's just time you got to duplicate it. You got to prove it. Yep. Prove it again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the obvious answer is the best coaches that we see in the NFL are both. And I think that, to me, I'm going opposite. I almost want to say it's because I've seen really good leaders and the guys that we hear, like, he's a great guy, the team loves him, they rally around him, but then in game things just fall apart. And I've seen that happen too many times. And Matt Nagy's a perfect example of that to me. I think Billy Napier may be one of those examples too. There's been guys here where you always hear those terms of, like, the team loves them, like the locker room's great, everybody gets along, the culture feels good, people want to play for him, but then it just doesn't work on the field. And I think that when you are a football team, the most important thing is wins. You want a leader and you want people that believe in you. And so if you have to choose, it's hard because you obviously want the guys that are both of those. The best ones in the league are the guys like a Sean McVay that we talk about all the time, that the players rally around and they love him, and he's a great leader, but he's also one of the best offensive mind coaches in the NFL. And then if you even go to the defensive guys this year, when you talk about a Vrabel and when you talk about a McDonald, when you talk about those two guys, they're defensive-minded guys. They're clearly great leaders because you've seen how quickly a Vrabel had turned kind of a little bit of dysfunction happening in New England and not a lot of wins and them trying to figure things out pretty quickly. And then McDonald, it seems like that team very quickly rallied around him and kind of bought into everything he was selling. Jim Harbaugh and with the Chargers is another one of those where they're leaders, but attached to that, they're really, really good at their jobs in game and on the field too. So it's almost hard to separate those two. But for me, I've seen too many examples of the guys where they're really great people and leaders and team loves them, and it doesn't work because the play calling isn't good or because they can't call the timeout at the right time. Eberflus is another example of those situations. And so because of that, I have to lean towards you need the guy that on the football field can make the right decisions and can out-coach the other coach. And so I lean that way a little bit. But you want both, and I think you have both in Liam Coen, and that's the good thing.
Yeah, that's why, to me, the question's fun because it's a difficult choice, really, because without the leadership, even if you are a great play caller, I mean, I feel like guys will see through that. And yes, the play calls are good, but outside of the actual 60 minutes of the game, people don't necessarily want to be around that person, right? And so that can create a bad culture.
If you're losing.
Yeah, if you're losing, for sure. And the losing is what, I mean, Tom,
it boils down to. Yeah.
Losing is what exposes everything, too.
Yeah.
There's very few winning organizations other than maybe the Eagles where you hear negative things coming from within the organization.
Yeah. So I didn't include decision making in play calling. It's still the same answer. The same answer.
I guess, yeah. So maybe the better question is leadership or coaching. Yeah. You can include play calling and coaching.
Because I think Liam's got to work on some of those coaching decisions on game day. You can't always be so aggressive, and by the way, it wasn't just in the wild card game. It happened earlier in the year too. Going for two when you don't need to. I hope he learns from that. You didn't. That was in against the Raiders. Remember, he went for two. You didn't need it. Wasn't it the Raiders? And then they came right down the field. Or who am I thinking of? Anyway, it was one of those games, and it turned. Oh no, it was the Texans. It was the Texans.
Yeah, when the Texans ended up.
When they ended up flipping it. In that first play, they got the ball back. They ripped off a 20-yarder. And you're like, here goes the momentum. It swung because you just gave it to him, because you went for it and you didn't have to. All you had to do was kick the extra point and you'd have been fine. You were up plenty. You know what I mean? Those kind of things. The 4th and 2. And look, if I can critique him, I don't always appreciate him just saying, "Oh well, no. The data says go." No, I don't. I don't always agree. The data. Sometimes, sorry, the data don't mean anything. Sometimes it's just reading the flow of the game, the flow of your players. And look, again, it can go either way. You know, if Trevor doesn't slip a little bit, maybe so. But maybe there's a better even play call. Maybe it's not getting him out on the open. Maybe it's more up the middle with him and his length. I don't know.
And we've seen Trevor trip a little bit before. But we have seen it happen. Look, I think Liam Coen is a guy that it's kind of surprising that he wasn't a head coach before now. And I know he's not old. Obviously, he just turned 40 this past season. But we're seeing guys really young get head coaching jobs. And because he has both, to your point, Taylor, I'm a little surprised that the Jags were the only team that interviewed him to be a head coach a season ago and that no one did before that, because it does feel like he's got the edge that you want. Like a Todd Golden, right? They are very similar in age. Todd is also 40, won the championship at 39. They both have the edge. They're both super smart. And that's why Todd Golden had been a head coach at San Francisco before he got to Florida. I'm just a little surprised now that we have the conversations about how many good things Liam Coen did with a 13 wins team and season, that he wasn't a head coach prior to this. But either way, I'm glad he wasn't, because then he wouldn't be in Jacksonville. But I think if I have to choose, I'd probably go leadership, because you can hire a play caller. I'm glad that we don't have to, right? But I think I'd go leadership because of how sour I guess I've been too on the way things have been year in and year out. Like you said, success one year, and then we end up a team that has less than 5 wins the next year.
Yeah, see, and I like the fact that the head coach is the offensive play caller, because you don't have to worry about Trevor keeping on having to go through these offensive play calling positions. And so I almost even wanted to separate that and be like, maybe for a defensive-minded head coach, the leadership for me stands out more, but for an offensive-minded coach, the actual physical play calling and decision-making may stand out more for me, because I think that when you're a defensive-minded head coach and you're not, offense feels like everything right now in the NFL, and if you're not scoring points, most times you're not winning games. And so for the defensive-minded coach to be that leader and be able to pull everybody in and lead the locker room really well and hire the right people, it seems very, very important. To me, the offensive-minded head coach being able to physically go out there and call games that are winning football games, and then not having to worry about them getting plucked away if you're just the OC. So I almost separate them on like which type of coach they are. And I was also trying to go through, and I'm like, I can name a long list of examples of guys that were good leaders but not good on-field coaches, and how they got fired and how that team didn't work. There's not a lot of guys that I can think of that I feel like are really good play callers but aren't good leaders, and that hasn't worked out in that sense. Like most times we're not being like, man, they're really good at their job of what they do in game, but they just can't keep their team together. Maybe Sirianni's kind of like that. We've heard some of the things with him and Jalen Hurts not getting along, and like there was some locker room issues there, but then in game he's done really well. Maybe a Mike McDaniel, where he's really good play caller, but it's just that weird quirky energy worked at first, but it kind of fell apart really quickly, and the team started buying into it. But there's not a lot of examples I can think of that, but there's a million I can think of on the other end, and that's why my mind kind of shifted to the like in-game physically winning football games matters most if you're winning.
Well, Liam kind of feels like a defensive coach, from an attitude,
fiery,
you know what I mean, from the edgy type standpoint, so you can tell he can command a room per se of, filled with his team. His play calling's great. I mean, I separate but then the decisions, I already said what I felt about that, but the play calling itself, I mean, it's very innovative. He knows how to get guys open. He fixed Trevor. He did. He got Trevor right. So did the other guys too. I'm sure. I think Grant played a big part in that, but they fixed him. Yeah. He needed some fixing, and they got it done, and now they just got to make sure that continues, because we know we can go really far with a very productive Trevor Lawrence.
And he's able to have the same formation, but it's a different play out of it.
Yeah.
And that's what keeps those defensive coordinators on their toes, which is fantastic for a guy like Trevor who can have a couple different play calls, and the defense has no idea what's coming at him.
I like his what would you call it? He's a little like, if he was a girl, you'd say he's sassy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's got a little sassiness to him. I like that. I like that. Don't keep your name out of my mouth or my name out of your mouth. Sorry, that kind of just that kind of rough and tough edge. And then he's smart enough to figure out the offensive.
Yeah.
And look again to fix Trevor was a big thing, man, and he got it done. So. Kudos to all of that.
That was the question last offseason was, can Liam Coen fix Trevor Lawrence?
Yeah.
And we talked about all the different things that they worked on.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, their relationship is really important. And you may end up with a new offensive coordinator next year. You may end up with a new defensive coordinator next year. We'll see. If the year goes well, then yes. If you end up having regression, then Grant Udinski's probably still here. Same with Anthony Campanile.
Think of McDonald, right? So different because he just hired his third offense coordinator. I think a tight end coach out of San Fran, maybe something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then with a different QB.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
he's had to do it over and over with different people.
What's cool about that is he's got his defense and then he knows what he wants his offense to be. So then he grabs a coordinator that will fit what he wants them to be.
That's why I separated the offense and defense coordinators.
Sense. Yeah.
Yeah, they're expected to hire, this was a few days ago, so I'm sure the hire is made now, but 49ers run game coordinator and tight ends coach Brian Fleury.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, is the new Seahawks offensive coordinator. He's got big shoes to fill.
Third
considering they just
3
won
years.
the whole dang thing. All right, let's turn our attention to a little fantasy football. Talk to your good buddy, Taylor, Dave.
Dave Kluge joining us, part of Football Guys. So a lot of fantasy football talk, but because he's so in depth when it comes to like dynasty leagues and stuff, he's really engulfed right now into the draft, the NFL draft. He also has some interesting thoughts on Travis Hunter and that whole trade and Jacoby Myers. So figured we'd get into some of that stuff.
All right.
Love it. Dave Kluge is coming up next. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels 10 to next on 92.5 FM.
Pickett here. Restore comfort and confidence with oculoplastic specialist Mary Kate Wilson, MD, at the Eye Associates, Jacksonville's expert in oculofacial plastic and reconstructive care. Dr. Wilson specializes in eyelid surgery, cosmetic and reconstructive procedures, and treatments, always with a personalized approach. Now seeing patients at the Beaches, Southside, and St. John's locations. To schedule your consultation with Dr. Wilson, call the Eye Associates, formerly Bowden Eye Associates, Schneider Eye and Wellness Center, and Janet A. Betchkel, MD, at 296-0098.
In the game of vehicle performance and reliability, Atlantic Infinity is always the top pick. This is Hayes Carlion. Did you know that every certified pre-owned Infinity is inspected, factory backed, with a limited warranty, and gets the same championship level service as a brand new Infinity? Every mile will feel like first class. Check out their full certified inventory now at AtlanticInfinity.com or visit Atlantic Infinity off Atlantic near St. John's Bluff.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
Not everyone is built for a cubicle. At Local 234, apprentices get paid to learn hands-on skills like plumbing, pipe fitting, HVAC, the stuff Jacksonville runs on. No endless lectures, no massive student debt, just hands-on training, real jobs, and real pay. This is how you level up, by doing work that actually matters. Check them out at UA234.com. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Local 234. Make the right connection.
Golf for a great cause. It's the UNF4 Scholarship Golf Classic, Friday, March 27th at Queens Harbor. Support the Swoop Impact Fund with a sponsorship or foursome. Contact jc.wegner@unf.edu.
Help your loved one fall back in love with his or her home with a home improvement from the professionals at the Lifetime family.
That's right, Nick. Happy Valentine's Day to all the lovebirds out there. What says I love you more than adding additional space with a glass or screen enclosure that will enhance your home's livability, or brand new floors that dramatically improve the look and feel of your home?
That's right. New outdoor living space from Lifetime Enclosures and beautiful floors from Lifetime Flooring.
Come experience the Lifetime difference. Call or visit one of our showrooms today for our Valentine's Day specials throughout February.
Lifetime Enclosures.
Are high-interest credit cards and other loans sucking the life out of your finances? It's time to say no more. Let Loan Pronto tap the equity on your home and get the cash you need now so you can pay it all off. Hey, it's Prosser here. Corey and Jack called Loan Pronto in a matter of days. They had $160,000. They kept their 3% mortgage intact. didn't even need an appraisal, and with all that cash, they wiped out all their credit cards and 2 car loans, saving $2,000 a month. You can do it too. LoanPronto.com, the rapid equity loan program, can get you $100, $200, even $500,000 in cash. Chloe and Ethan just did it. Consolidated all their high-interest debt into one super low monthly payment, giving them an extra $1,000 a month. Imagine, pay off all the credit cards, slash your monthly payments, breathe easier. Get your life back. Interest rates are at 3-year lows. Call Loan Pronto today, 904-999-1500. That's 904-999-1500. Or go to loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781. Visit NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
When it's game time, make feeding the crowd easy. Chicken Salad Chick serves fresh Southern-style chicken salad, flavorful sides, and crowd-favorite catering trays. Order ahead at chickcatering.com or visit one of 4 area locations today.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch. Here's another call on the 1010XL hotline, driven by Key Buick GMC, home of the lifetime powertrain warranty.
Welcome back into Helmets and Heels. Time to chat some fantasy football, NFL draft, maybe some Travis Hunter and the Jaguars. We're joined now by Dave Kluge. He's a contributor for Football Guys, which you can get all of your fantasy football draft needs, guide needs, diving into some rookie rankings and stuff like that. My personal favorite part of Dave Kluge's bio, though, is he's a Jay Cutler apologist, as am I. So, Dave, thanks for hopping on with us.
Hey, thank you so much for having me. I left Chicago a few years ago, but you can't take the Chicago out of the guy. Still a Jay Cutler apologist, will be till my last breath.
I love it. Everybody that listens to this show knows I love some Jay Cutler. But let's start with some of the broader points of the upcoming NFL draft, / if people are starting to look into some of these Dynasty League drafts and those things that are coming up. One of your tweets I saw, I actually mentioned on this show earlier in the week, and it was talking about the gap between RB1, a Jeremiah Love in this draft, compared to a running back 2. And you mentioned it being the same kind of feeling gap as the RB2 to RB7. So chat about that a little bit, and just kind of this running back draft when we're talking about the upcoming 2026 NFL draft.
Yeah, we got so spoiled last year with just this huge mass of very talented running backs coming into the league, and that just isn't going to be the case this year. Now, that doesn't mean that people aren't going to surprise us. I think that there are a lot of guys with translatable traits that can work at the NFL level, but yeah, when I look at Jeremiah Love, he's the only complete prospect. He's got the tackle breaking, the pass catching, the long speed, the contact balance, everything you want to see. When you start looking at the next 7 or 8 guys, they all kind of have big flaws that are tough to overlook. You know, Jadarian Price is just a little bit undersized. Mike Washington doesn't have the long speed that we want to see. Katron Allen is a little bit slower than we'd like to see. Emmett Johnson, a little bit undersized. Jonah Coleman, a little bit undersized. So there's a lot of guys that we like in this draft that have good skills. But with the combine next week, that's when we're going to want to see who can weigh in, 220 pounds plus, who has that size-adjusted speed that we know will translate to the NFL level. So some fun players in this draft, but it's just so hard to differentiate right now because we're working with an incomplete puzzle, not knowing how these guys are going to test and then not knowing what teams they're going to be playing on.
Dave, how does the fantasy football world feel about Travis Hunter playing corner only?
Well, if you're asking me personally, I am looking at that as maybe a little bit of a smokescreen, and I don't know what the beat is in Jacksonville, but I saw that came from a national reporter, and that was his expectation that he would be quarterback only. But what I saw is that Travis Hunter, in his last game, he caught 8 of 14 targets for over 100 yards and a touchdown. We saw highlights almost every single week at the wide receiver position. So, yes, I think that the injury to Travis Hunter necessitated the need to trade for Jacoby Myers. And Jacoby Myers has been great in that role, but I'm still of the belief that Travis Hunter is going to be involved in offense. So there's a lot of people right now that are just panicking, selling Travis Hunter in their dynasty, using the draft in fantasy football. That's not where I am. I still think that this is a talented player. We saw the highlights. We know he's got the unbelievable ball skills and after the catch abilities. I am trying to buy any discount I can on Travis Hunter while everybody else is panicking.
Dave Kluge here with us from the Football Guys, Helmets and Heels. Dave, great to talk to you. Parker Washington, big year last year, breakout season. How's he going to fare in these fantasy drafts coming up for 26?
I think he is a very, very good player, but if you look when his big games happened, so often they came before the Jacoby Myers trade, and while Travis Hunter was injured, while Brian Thomas Jr. was injured. So I think that when he needs to step up, the opportunity is there. We know that he's a good football player, but I do worry that with Brian Thomas Jr., Jacoby Myers, Travis Hunter, Brenton Strange getting involved as a pass catcher as well, that there just aren't enough targets to go around. So I think when you're in your best ball draft and you're looking for a dart throw in the very final rounds, I think you can spend that on Parker Washington. Your deep dynasty leagues, I think that you can trade for cheap and acquire Parker Washington, but I don't think he's a guy that we can really rely on as a week in and week out starter. But the contingent value, if one of the pass catchers ahead of him gets injured, we know can push him into the top 24 conversation on any given week.
Dave, how is a draft affected? We're looking at this one coming up right now in the 2026 NFL draft, and it looks like from a lot of things I've said, there's the possibility that there may be more safeties drafted in the first round than quarterbacks and running backs combined, which is kind of wild. And so when you think about that and how it's kind of relative to those later first round picks and the second round, so start with that and just kind of how you think that the lack of those two position groups affects the draft, and then how that kind of rolls over into people when they're drafting for their fantasy leagues also.
You know, the NFL, and I could talk about this for hours, so I'll try to make it as distinct as I can, but the NFL is constantly changing. You see these kind of copycat schemes, and I think what we're seeing right now is that, 10 years ago, it became such a pass-heavy league when we saw the rules change to positively impact the passing game. But as we saw defenses started living out of dime coverage, it just really changed things up, and they started playing in too high shell coverages, taking away the deep ball. And we saw it start to change a little bit, and we weren't getting these big explosive plays that we saw 10, 15 years ago. So now what we're seeing is getting the same amount of pass catchers on the field, but a lot more tight ends. And these tight ends are, in my opinion, are more valuable than what you're getting from a slot receiver because they can block. So based on what you put out there defensively, teams can decide whether they're going to run the ball or pass the ball at the line of scrimmage after defense shows their cards. So I think now when you look at these safeties, this isn't your traditional free safety that's just going to stay 30 yards off the line of scrimmage and just try to stop the big play. Now we've got these guys that are dropping down into the box, covering guys in nickel packages as well. So I think that when we just say safety, the safety has changed so much in the NFL over the last 10, 15 years with guys like Jaquan Brisker and Kyle Hamilton that can just play all over the formation. So we're going to see a lot of safeties getting drafted this year, but these aren't your traditional safeties. These are guys that can get in the box. They're guys who can blitz as well. So Nick Emenwari, we just saw him play in that role in the Super Bowl. I think every team now wants to have that kind of chess piece on defense that can move all over the place. They just so happen to be labeled as safeties.
Dave, non-football question for you. You posted about your favorite music act coming to town, and a great venue, but it was too expensive. I think everyone can understand that you didn't buy tickets and why you didn't buy tickets, because concert tickets these days are astronomical. So I have to know, what was the act?
It was Paul Simon, and he is playing at Red Rock. And if Paul Simon wasn't 84 years old, I'd probably be willing to pay up a little bit more. But paying $400 to go see an 84-year-old play music is just a little bit too steep for me. So try to find budget shows where we can. But, yeah, you're not going to find many budget shows at Red Rock.
No, I've never been to Red Rocks, but my cousin lives out there. So one day I will go.
Hey, Dave, how's the fantasy world looking at Fernando Mendoza, number one pick coming out? Are they going to be high on him? How do you feel about him? I saw where Mel Kiper thinks, and that's Mel, so whatever, but he says you strike gold with him going to the Raiders. How do you feel about the potential number one pick in the NFL draft?
I love the landing spot personally. I'm a big believer of Clint Kubiak and what he has done through his many stops throughout the NFL. When you look at some of the pieces that they have here with Brock Bowers and Ashton Jinty, there are already fun weapons on offense that they can feature. And then they're sitting on $89 million in cap space as well, so they can address some of the issues that they had at offensive line. I think for fantasy, though, we really know at this point you need to be a rushing quarterback if you want to be an elite fantasy asset. We saw last year that, like, Jackson Dart, before he kind of figured it out as a passer, he was still giving us top 10 quarterback production every single week just because of his rushing. We see guys like Malik Willis come in and throw the ball 16 times and gives a top 10 week in fantasy because of the rushing. I think Mendoza is more of your prototypical pocket passer. He's going to stand tall in the pocket. He's going to find the open guys. And that, unfortunately, in today's NFL does cap his upside a little bit. So I think in your leagues where you're forced to start two quarterbacks or you've got a super flex spot, there's value there. But but I'm very hesitant to believe that even though I think he'll be a good NFL player, I don't think the fantasy production is going to be there.
Dave Kluge of Football Guys. Final one before we let you go, because I can't let you leave without asking about Trevor Lawrence and kind of the bit of a roller coaster it has been since Trevor has come to Jacksonville with the start of Urban Meyer and then now Liam Coen taking over this last year, and that final stretch of games where we've seen probably the best Trevor Lawrence we've seen in the NFL. So thoughts on him when it comes to just in general for the Jaguars moving forward, but also in that fantasy world too.
I don't see how Jacksonville fans can't be really excited about what they saw from Lawrence down the stretch. He looked phenomenal, and we see this often that these new coaches come in and they try to force their systems, and it doesn't work right away, but we just saw that offense clicking every single week, looking a little bit better, and I really think that Jacoby Myers is the guy who came in and unlocked that offense. He was playing the Chris Godwin role that we saw, over the last couple of years in Tampa Bay, and I think that's really what this Liam Coen offense is predicated on, is having that high-low offense. So when you have guys like Brian Thomas Jr. and Travis Hunter that could stretch the field, and then you have Jacoby Myers just fearlessly catching balls across the middle, playing out of the slot, it really unlocks what they want to do there. So I have a lot of excitement for Trevor Lawrence. Looking at my dynasty rankings, which forecast as far in advance as we possibly can, I've got Trevor Lawrence inside my top 6 quarterbacks. It might have been an arduous path to get there with all the coaching and offensive coordinator changes over the years, but I think that you've got to be excited about the partnership that we've seen between Trevor Lawrence and Liam Coen.
Well, we appreciate it. We are excited here. It was a fun final. Everyone talks about the last half, but those last 5 games or so were really fun to watch of Trevor, and we hope that continues. So, Dave, appreciate your time as always, and we hope you have a good offseason.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
No such thing
Not
as
off season for him, especially.
Correct. Yeah. No such thing as the off season when it comes to a job like his. But yeah, I appreciate that. I wonder how many fantasy football championships he wins in a year.
I wanted to ask how many he's in, because we know Mike Dempsey here being a fantasy guy will do like 80 something. So I almost asked that, but then I was like, we were running out of time here, so I didn't want to push it because that probably could have turned into a whole other conversation. I don't know how they do that many. And a lot of Mike's are best ball, so you kind of draft and let it sit. You don't have to mess with the lineup. But I'll do the max. I had 5 1 year, and it was almost impossible to keep up with that.
I've only ever had, I think, 2 at the most, and even that I had to set a calendar reminder on Thursday mornings to double check the lineups. Yeah. But I know in the past I've had people ask me for fantasy help, and I'm like, wrong person. Well, and what level of help are you looking for? Because we have experts here. But if you don't know who Patrick Mahomes is, then I can help you.
I can't manage one. I can't. I forget to put the lineup in. I forget who's injured. I tried it with Demps a couple times. I'm like, I just can't do it.
Well, now we have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday football, and things change. They're so secretive with injuries now. You don't know what's going on. It's getting more difficult. I honestly this year dropped down to 2, and I think next year I'm only going to do 1, my dynasty league, because I'm like, it's just becoming too much. Too much.
Then you throw in dynasty. Yeah, for sure. All right, more to do on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL, 92.5 FM.
Making radio in Jacksonville more fun.
All of Jumanji, thanks.
Because you can use a little more fun in your day. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Been in a car crash? I'm local attorney Rick Alexander, and I've made it our mission at the Alexander Law Practice to listen to you so I can fight for the best possible result for you. I've been practicing over 30 years, and our team focuses on guiding you through the entire process. And because fees and reimbursement costs come out at the end of the case, I will never ask you to come out of pocket. For a free review, call 904-400-6600 or log on to alexanderlawpractice.com, Jacksonville.
Did you know there's local savings sitting in your mailbox right now? Money Pages is packed with real coupons from your favorite local businesses. Save money at restaurants like Al's Pizza, on pet care at Forever Vets, and on entertainment for the whole family at the Alhambra Theater. Plus, make sure to download the Money Pages app for savings on the go. Money Pages in your mailbox right now.
This date in sports history is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On February 19, 2019, third baseman Manny Machado signed a 10-year, $300 million contract with the Padres, the largest free agent contract in American sports history.
What racehorse won the Belmont Stakes by 31 lengths? The answer next.
When your homeowner's insurance policy is up for renewal, it's a good idea to shop around to find a better plan. Southern Oak Insurance for over 20 years provides Floridians a clear option. SouthernOak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Secretariat. won the Triple Crown in '73, including winning the Belmont by 31 lengths.
Southern Oak Insurance, our family protecting yours.
Hey, Googans, Hicken here, and I just want to once again give you this very simple reminder. Wear sunscreen. If you're outside a lot, bring the screen. Put some in your truck, on your boat, in your golf bag, whatever, wherever, just use it. Please. It's hot out there, and I just want you to protect yourself. I use it like it's cool because I think it is, but what's not cool, that's skin cancer. You don't want to deal with that. Go get yourself checked out. It could save your life. Go to beachesdermatology.com and schedule your appointment today. That's beachesdermatology.com.
Hey, it's Travis from Cannons of Jacks. Thank you for trusting us for 55 years of custom welding fabrication and vehicle towing accessories. When you need a trailer hitch for the family car, a gooseneck for the company truck, or even RV towing options, call us at Cannons. We can do a bumper hitch, fifth wheel hitch, anything for safe, reliable towing. Come to Cannons of Jacks, where service is our #1 priority and we treat our customers as we like to be treated. Check us out online, cannonsofjacks.com.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and Triumph did a really cool thing last year, Greg. They went off-road. What's happening with Triumph?
Well, not only did they go off-road, they threw all the chips on the table. Ricky Carmichael personally developed this motorcycle for them. So if you haven't seen the Ricky Carmichael 450, you need to come see it. Also just released some Enduros this year. They've got a full lineup. You're going to love them.
Talking Triumph, the latest off-road Cycles of Jacksonville on Atlantic near Regency. Check out cyclesofjacksonville.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coil Fencing. Since 1927, Jacksonville has trusted Coil Fencing to protect what matters. And I trust them too. From tough chain link to your commercial project to sleek aluminum fencing your HOA will love, Coil does it all. Did you know that Coil can also install, service, and maintain those automatic gates that help protect your neighborhood or business? To schedule a complimentary consultation, visit CoilJacks.com. That's COYLE Jacks.com. Coil Fencing, A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch.
Tom McManus, Taylor Dahl, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you on this Thursday afternoon. All right, in honor of Taylor's bright orange tank top that I may or may not have purchased her because I needed one as well. Mine for the Gators, hers for the Bears. But in honor of that tank top, let's talk a little Bears because this stadium stuff moving from state to state, from Illinois to Indiana, seems kind of crazy to someone who was a part of a team that was talked about potentially moving to London a long time ago. But obviously that was never going to happen and never is going to leave Duval County.
Yeah. You want to go first?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I think so. My stance on this has always been I want it to stay downtown. Mm-hmm. That was never going to happen. Unfortunately, there's not the space downtown. They want to build a whole, and I've compared it before to like a Battery type thing. If you've ever been to the Battery in Atlanta, they want to have the shops and the restaurants and the bars and the stores and all of that right around and to make it like a full game day experience. And if you've ever been to Soldier Field, if you've ever been to Chicago, you've probably been able to see that's just not the case at Soldier Field. It's on the water. It's great. It's fantastic because you get the skyline behind you and obviously Lake Michigan in front of you. And it's that part of it is great. And you're never going to be able to replace that. With all that being said, game day is difficult at times for people that go. The tailgating's not close. There's like one parking lot that you can tailgate. If not, you're walking miles or you're taking shuttles. It's in parking lots is where you are. You're in these like enclosed parking lots, and then you have to take a shuttle to get you a little closer. Then you still walk a mile to get to the stadium. There's not a bar right down the street where afterwards everyone can go and just like
with the Cubs.
Yeah. It's just not. It doesn't. The location of it, everything around it is more. It's like a lot of museums and parks and things like that. So it's pretty and it's cool, but it just doesn't have that full where if you're like, let's go downtown and fully experience game day. You go to the game and then you leave and you're Ubering or taxiing or taking the train somewhere to where you can hang out next. And so the Bears obviously want to make it into a sense where you don't just go to a Bears game. There's an
entertainment district.
Yeah, and they also want Super Bowls and things like that. And the Bears obviously also have the smallest stadium in the NFL too when it comes to how many that people can fit in there. So they want to make that bigger. They wanted to make it a full game day experience. They want people to go and be like, hey, I want to go to the restaurant down, across from Soldier Field and eat dinner and take pictures in front of Soldier Field and all of that stuff. And so there's a lot of reasons why they want to move it. So the downtown thing wasn't ever going to happen. And there was moments where it felt like, oh, maybe they were able to figure something out. They showed some renderings of a piece of land a little bit closer to the south side, and everybody was like, that's not going to work. There's highways running right in the middle of it. It just wasn't going to be functional enough for it. So that, with all that being said, it was always talked about, okay, well, then it has to go, where can you put it elsewhere? And Arlington Heights was that first spot where people, we've heard a ton about that. And that's obviously like in the suburbs of Chicago. And so that was a spot. It used to have a big horse racing.
Yeah, it was
horse
Arlington Park.
racing.
I used to go
The
there.
big
It was great.
track out there. So they already had the land. It had kind of, it was a neighborhood around it, but there was a ton of space where you could put parking lots and the restaurants and everything you want. And everyone was like, okay, like that's cool. Some people still didn't love it because it is a pretty decent amount out of Chicago. It's actually farther out of Chicago than Hammond, Indiana is away from Chicago. You'll get to Hammond, Indiana in 30, 35 minutes. Arlington Heights is probably about 40 minutes, 45 without traffic. And there, so that's where I think there's trying to figure out things, and it's very messy right now. They pretty much came out earlier and it was like, oh, it looks like Hammond and like this is going to happen. And then the governor comes out today and is like, he goes, it's very disappointing to hear that they would put a statement out like that, not saying anything about the advancement that has been made in the state of Illinois. Apparently, they had a meeting with Springfield, which is obviously the state capital. They had a meeting a couple days ago, and what's coming out of that meeting is completely different from what the state of Indiana is saying right now. So I'm just kind of like, you guys let me know when you're finished with this, because it's clearly there's like this battle between what the state of Illinois wants to do, what the Bears want to do, and now other states. Iowa has now came in on it, like, oh, we'll take the Bears too.
All the I states.
Yeah,
The
it's
Iowa
just
Bears.
like everybody is trying to get in on it. The one thing I will say is a lot of it is, from what I've read, is it's going to have like $100 million of like property taxes for that $2 billion stadium if they keep it in Illinois. The next highest is what I read was LA, and theirs is like 10 million. So that's obviously a massive difference of taxes between that of what they'd be building with the stadium if they keep it in downtown Chicago or even like in the suburbs of Chicago. So there's a lot of things they're figuring out. It's not, to me, because I've already accepted the fact it's not staying in downtown Chicago, to me, it doesn't matter. I'm going to fly in, I'm going to get a hotel in downtown Chicago, and I'm either going to take a 30-minute train to Hammond or a 45-minute train to Arlington Heights or wherever they end up doing it. And it doesn't factor in much for me. I don't think it factors in much for the normal fan, because most of the normal fans are living in the suburbs and they're going to hop on the train and have to take the train to somewhere anyways. The main people I think affected are the ones that downtown that could, walk out their doors and see Soldier Field on the lake. They're also building a dome, so it doesn't matter about the lake effect and all of that stuff anymore, and the wind. That's going away because you're going to be inside anyways.
Yeah, it's a damn shame they got to leave Chicago.
I know, the city.
I was born in Arlington Heights, actually, and we used to go to Arlington Park. Fridays were great. $1 beers. You bet on the horses. It was so much fun. I could see it totally working there. I wish they'd figure that out. I get it. You look at Patriot Place, right? They were way ahead of the game.
Yeah.
That's what they did. They bought all the land around the stadium and then built Patriot Place. So you could be a one-stop shop, fun, entertainment, football, going out, going to restaurants.
Foxborough, it's not Boston.
Yeah.
Correct. Far out from Boston.
It's a good
and
fit
has,
out there.
Absolutely. That's a good trek. So it's a shame. I don't like any teams leaving the city. Like the Miami Dolphins, I always felt like, man, you just figure it out. Like somehow, we were in Chicago. I'm not an engineer by any means. I know that years ago, their home games were at Illinois because they refurbished Soldier Field.
Yeah.
It looks stupid. From the outside, it always looked dumb to me.
It's like half old, half like spaceship.
Like a spaceship landed on top of the old Soldier Field. Now, I don't know how much land's around. You're right about the ingress, egress. It sucks going to it. It takes forever. And it's not fun when you have to walk a mile to your car, to the stadium. I remember we left U2, even left the concert, left early, and like, holy cow, this is quite the trek, like I was out of shape or anything, but I'm just saying, like, that's a long ass walk, to get in and out of a stadium. So they should have figured something out there. All that land that you got to walk through, they couldn't, put a couple restaurants there. You know what I mean? It just seems like, why can't
now
you
it's a bunch of condos and townhomes, so they've built little things there.
That's true.
Walking through now, you're walking in people's front yards, pretty much leaving, and that's part of it probably too, is they're turning it into like there's a lot more condos and townhomes and those little things. There are a couple shops and restaurants, but they're like mom and pop little pizza places and stuff like that. But you're like walking through people's townhome front yards, like leaving the game, and people are passed out drunk in their yards, and it's just like a little crazy out there.
I mean, look at Wrigley. They got
Wrigley's
everything around it.
Yeah.
They got restaurants, they got bars, they got shops, they got everything right there.
Yeah.
Like right next door to it.
But you can't bulldoze another part of that
No,
area.
I'm just saying, why not do that around
Yeah.
Soldier Field is what I'm saying. There might not be enough land there,
Yeah,
I guess.
that's what
but
they've said.
That's too bad. You couldn't just do that.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I mean,
I
Indiana.
mean, the museum's like across the you could throw a rock and hit the art museum or whatever. Like, there's just too much of that stuff. They can't knock down the art museum and build a restaurant.
True.
Yeah. Well, we will continue this conversation as far as stadiums go on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010XL 92.5 FM.
I did not see this one coming.
Radio play-by-play is like stepping in a theater in your mind.
As good as it gets.
1010XL, Jacksonville's home for play-by-play.
Create a backyard your family will love. Jack's Outdoor Solutions, an authorized dealer of Celebrity Greens, installs PGA quality artificial turf golf greens and complete outdoor spaces. From turf to custom hardscapes, landscaping, and lighting, every project is built for style, durability, and family fun. Locally owned and trusted across Northeast Florida, customers rave about their results. Check their 5-star reviews on Google. Plan your dream backyard today at jacksoutdoorsolutions.com.
It's time to upgrade your ride and trade in your Tesla for luxury with a brand new Cadillac EV.
At Randy Marion Cadillac on Southside Boulevard, Jacksonville, we have over 30 Cadillac EVs to choose from.
Feel the power of instant torque and enjoy the range that takes you farther.
You love your Tesla, but it's time to elevate your ride.
Trade in your Tesla today at Randy Marion Cadillac in Jacksonville. Randy Marion Cadillac of Jacksonville.com.
You pick the color and drive away today.
And don't forget, tell them Jennifer sent you.
Jacksonville is thinking teal, and so are Mike Dempsey and Fat Tony. It's Jaguars Today, breaking down everything Jags and NFL. Brought to you by Renewal by Anderson, Custom Windows and Doors. Weekdays 10 to noon on 1010XL.
Flame Broiler, the Rice Bowl King, is turning up the flavor with new char wings. These wings are charbroiled, never fried, grilled to perfection for a big taste without the grease. Grab them as a 3-piece or 10-piece side, or make it a meal with a 6 or 8-piece combo, served with rice and a drink. Order pickup or delivery today from any of Flame Broiler's 5 Jacksonville locations, or call 904-619-2786. Flame Broiler, bold flavor done right.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Mark Watson with Hardball Creative, here to share with you an actual client review.
Dude, these shirts are sick.
Check out the shirts and other sick promo items at hardballcreative.com.
Hardball Creative. Hardball does it all.
Valentine's Day is sweet, but let's be honest, your septic tank wants attention too. Because when it gets ignored, it doesn't sulk, it causes problems, big ones. That's why Duck Rooter, the only master septic contractor in Northeast Florida, is rolling out the Show Your Septic Some Love promotion. Right now, get $50 off septic tank pumping when you book by February 28th. Give your septic a little love now so it doesn't make a big scene later. When you start, call the Duck, 904-862-6769, duckrooter.com.
The road to March runs through Jacksonville. The 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament is coming to VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Catch all 24 Division I basketball programs in action March 3rd through 9th. Reserve your seat today at asunsports.org/tickets. Jacksonville is the destination for ASUN basketball. Get your tickets to the 2026 Atlantic Sun Conference men's and women's basketball tournament today. asunsports.org/tickets.
Hey Jacksonville, David Garrard here. If you want a street legal golf cart that's built with quality and style, check out Dynamic Drives and Designs in Jacks Beach. They have new, used, and fully customized carts from the top brands like Atlas, Dodge, and Pilot Car. Every car gets a complete expert inspection, so you know it's ready to hit the road. Their team can help you design the perfect custom cart that fits your style and needs. For your custom golf cart, visit dynamicdrivesdesign.com today and see your perfect ride.
For the ultimate and unique gift ideas, visit CoenFlowers.com. RJ Saunders here, and no matter what the reason, Coen Flowers has it all. Sending flowers was never so easy, either online, on the phone, or in their super cool showroom. Coen Flowers converts the extra point every time.
Living on Amelia Island, having fun in Fernandina Beach? No matter what brings you to the fun, cozy town, make sure you check out the tap room at Mocama Beer Company. With a full flight of craft creations, from the Cosmico IPA to the Motor, the perfect Pilsners and Lagers, matching memories and some Mocama magic is what it's all about. Mocama Beer Company in Fernandina Beach. near the big water where the sun is born. And look for more Mocama craft at your local Total Wine or ABC Liquors.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Local sports update. Team USA defeated Sweden in the quarterfinals of the men's hockey at the Winter Olympics, thanks to a beautiful overtime goal off the right post from Minnesota Wild defenseman Quinn Hughes. The Americans will next face Slovakia tomorrow in the semifinals with a 3:10 puck drop. It's 82 degrees at 3:03 time and temp, brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL, presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Welcome back to Helmets and Heels. Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you. Still down 1-0 in that women's hockey game down to Canada.
They got to pick it up.
So, yeah, there's still time, but I think we're getting a little nervous around these parts.
Definitely. I haven't, obviously, we're talking on air, so I haven't been able to closely watch, but sounds like the refs haven't been awesome, and I've missed some calls on Canada, and I have some frustrated friends talking about that. But
when in doubt, blame the refs.
Yeah, it's 1-0. Plenty of time still to. You just got to get it in the net, tie it up, and go from there.
I think they got to get tougher.
They're
I
also
think Canada's bullying them a little bit.
They
it
are.
feels like.
And that's how the men felt yesterday too. And then you just at some point you got to turn it up a notch, and it's time right now.
That's right.
It's do or die. Because
now or never.
That's right. It's the gold medal match. All right. So we were talking about stadiums, and what's interesting. So we just went to Denver, right, in December, and I was curious as to what their stadium looks like as far as not the inside of the stadium, but the entertainment district or lack thereof.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there's not an entertainment district. There is one restaurant that's somewhat close to the stadium, but it's still over probably a half a mile walk from that restaurant. But again, just one.
Yeah.
And then everyone has to walk down this like kind of long winding area to get to the stadium and then back. And so there wasn't a whole lot of tailgating, and sometimes it does make you appreciate what we have. And I know Lot J didn't go through, and so our entertainment district hasn't been built yet, and it's not necessarily on the horizon because that was rejected. But once the stadium gets redone, have a feeling that in the next few years after that, we'll start to see a lot more of that development, especially with the Four Seasons being built. And that looks amazing if you haven't been downtown recently.
I mean, how cool is that going to be? To be like in the back of the Four Seasons, out by the pool, drinking, eating, and then, hey, let's walk over to kickoff and go watch the Jags play and then come back after.
If you have any friends that end up with one of those luxury places, let me know.
Yeah, no doubt. We can use that.
And I think Mile High, I was just looking, because Mile High was built in 2001. So you're at 25 years of that stadium now. And I do feel like it's been this shift. Like you said, it kind of feels like the Gillette and that whole
Patriot
place was kind of the start of a lot of places being like, oh, we could make this a year-round thing. And I think that's the cool part, and that's what obviously Jacksonville does want to do with just the stadium alone. You talk about concerts, and you want to get the draft, and you want to get the Super Bowl and things like that. You want to get all these events in the stadium, but if you have that outside of everything with bars and restaurants and things that people want to do, it just constantly makes that area something. When it's for tourists, if you're local, whatever the case may be, it makes it a destination. It gives jobs. Obviously, that's one of the things you talk about with the money you can make from what you'll build in from those businesses, but also what the jobs that are going to be offered there. And I think it's cool. That's one of the best parts when you talk about Wrigley is when there's a game, a 7:00 game at Wrigley, you're not getting there at 6 p.m. You're getting there at 2 p.m.
Yep.
You're drinking, you're eating, you're going to all the shops in Wrigley. It's a whole day that little part of Chicago is making money. And that's what obviously Jacksonville does want to do, and kind of the thoughts with Lot J but in downtown general, building up downtown. And so I do think you're seeing more and more sport teams wanting to do that, because they're like, oh, we can make this a thing where it's a year round. Football's only from September to January. So now we can make people want to be in this area year round. And that's a big benefit if you have the opportunity to do something like that.
Yeah, Philadelphia has an entertainment district as well.
They also have every stadium like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah,
bam.
you leave Lincoln Financial and you can walk to lots of different areas, and they have a huge sports bar down there.
And I think over time, Jacksonville will be that. There'll be more and more to do downtown. We'll see if Lot J comes back. They may not call it that or put it, maybe can't use the entire thing, but figure that out. But look, you got dailies, you got the big stadium, you got acts coming, you got musicals, you got all types of music acts, of course, all the football. And then it becomes that destination. You know, right? Listen, I love our downtown, but when do you go downtown? You go unless you live downtown. So I live out at the beach. Well, when am I going to come downtown? I'm going to come downtown for work if I have to. I'm going to come downtown for football games because I like
events
to.
in general,
Yes.
like baseball,
maybe
hockey,
a show,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
Concerts for sure.
But as far as like, hey, let's go out and hit a few places and go get dinner and walk around. No, we don't leave the beach, or maybe we'll go to the town center or something. But eventually, it's gonna be a walkable city in the in where the sporting. Yeah. It's gonna be beautiful. I mean, just the Four Seasons to start is gonna be incredible. I mean, and the office is going to look great, and then the new stadium's going to be incredible as well. And then once they get all that done, everything else will fall into place. They'll have more. I feel bad, thinking about like intuition. I feel so bad. Like they've been waiting for this to happen for so long, and then for whatever reason they can't do it anymore, and it's too bad because you think it would be coming.
Cost of living has gone up.
No, everything's gone up. Everything.
Yeah, no, I thought about them earlier too when we were having this conversation because for so long, anytime anyone has asked me, where should I go before fill in the blank of what event it is, I always say go to Intuition. They've got the rooftop, or if you are going to something even like lunchtime, go to Intuition. Doesn't always have to be about drinking their beer. Right. That's just what we think of. But yeah, and so it is sad that it wasn't able to work until the new stadium or the renovated stadium is done in 2028.
Yeah. But it's gonna be fun when it is done.
Oh yeah,
it's gonna be a big
great
park.
down there.
And then you will go down there and walk. And look, by the way, Riverside's awesome. You can do that there.
San Marco's great.
Yeah, San Marco's
Avondale,
great. There's a bunch of areas, and even parts of downtown. If you live downtown, you can do that too. It is plenty to do. But as far as somebody coming here just for that, that's when they'll start coming.
Yeah, I know before concerts, especially like if we're going to one like at the Florida Theater, we'll go to places that are right around there.
Yeah, and there's plenty.
That part is awesome. Yeah. You just like to your point, you have to get people to want to go downtown there for something other than a sporting event or a concert, and that's the part that we haven't gotten to just yet.
Correct.
Yeah.
I look Bay Street, all that grass, like that should just be stuff.
Yeah. Right on the river.
Shops, offices, whatever. Get it going. We should be walking from the old landing all the way down past the the Four Seasons and not have to stop. You know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to the new marina that's going to be there. It's going to be gorgeous. Parks and everything. Yeah. Our city is on the way up, people. It's on the way up for sure.
Yeah, I cannot wait.
All right, when we come back, Lauren's Lane, talk a little college football. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
It's a fascinating little gadget. It's going to replace CDs soon, so I'll have to buy the White Album again.
What is this? It's a 1010XL.
The past is past, the future's now.
Welcome to Key Buick GMC, proudly family-owned and operated since 1943. Come see why they're North Florida's new and pre-owned truck center, conveniently located on Southside and JTB, just minutes from the St. John's Town Center. At Key Buick GMC, every new vehicle comes with our lifetime powertrain warranty. Key Buick GMC, we are professional grade. Online at keybuickgmc.com. Lifetime powertrain warranty covers engine, transmission, drivetrain only. Exclusions apply. See dealer for details.
Frank Frangie here. I've been telling you about Stanley Pools for years. But you know my favorite thing about this family-owned company? They take such good care of my pool. All I have to do is relax and enjoy it. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and their weekly maintenance makes owning a pool effortless. You can trust Stanley Pools to build your pool or upgrade it. They've done both for me. Call 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
The month for love is a perfect time to get your home organized. Hey, Lauren Brooks here, and I just love our closets from Closets by Design. They create custom storage systems designed around how you actually live, from closets and garages to entertainment centers, laundry rooms, and storage for any space and budget. With their new showroom now open, they have extended the offer of 40% off, plus an extra 15% off, free installation, and 18-month special financing. Schedule your free consultation to go see that amazing showroom. Call 904-878-9393 or visit them online, closetsbydesign.com.
They give their best physically and mentally.
Listen for the Southeast Orthopedic Specialist Scholar Athlete of the Week, tuned up by
The Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234.
Wednesday afternoons on The Frangie Show.
On 1010XL.
Hi, Jacksonville.
This is Dr. George Bari, an orthopedic surgeon who is fellowship trained in sports medicine by the Dr. James Andrews. Wintertime is upon us, and you may notice you wake up in the morning with some aches and pains in the shoulders and knees. If this happens to you, don't forget, stay mobile to try to reduce stiffness in your joints. And if that doesn't work, come see me at Bari Orthopedics, where we can treat you with cortisone injections and platelet-rich plasma injections and other non-invasive needs. Visit me at bariorthopedics.com.
The Players' Championship returns to TPC Sawgrass March 10th through 15th. Experience golf's most iconic stage with enhanced food and beverage offerings, interactive fan attractions, and an atmosphere built for every type of fan. See the best players in the world, including world #1 Scotty Scheffler, 2025 champion Rory McIlroy, and fan favorite Brooks Koepka take on the legendary Stadium Course and the famous Island Green. Tickets available at theplayers.com.
Attention Northeast Florida golfers. Save hundreds on golf at premier local courses and support youth development. The First Tee of North Florida Tour Card is your key to big savings and making a difference. For just $99, you'll unlock discounted golf and offers at top courses and local businesses all year long. Plus, every tour card purchase helps fund programs that build character, confidence, and life skills for kids in our community. Grab your tour card today at tourcard.org.
The riders who face Daytona Supercross are built different. Withstanding the most unforgiving and grueling track is not just a point of pride, but of pure grit and determination. This battle can only be felt in person. Witness the action unfold at the only place in Florida where the biggest names will battle it out under the lights. Daytona Supercross is built different. It's built for champions. It's built for fans. The gate drops Saturday, February 28th. There's only one place to be. Secure your tickets and trackside access at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
Hacker here. We're rolling towards March, and for most people, that just means better weather and more golf. For me, 2 years ago, this time of year was a life changer. Honestly, it felt like a lifesaver. That's when I started Awaken 180, and in 1 month, I was down 35 pounds. 2 months, 50 pounds. And no, it wasn't magic. It wasn't some miracle shot. I tried the meds. I tried the cutting carbs. I tried convincing myself I was fine. None of it stuck. Awaken 180 wasn't a trick. It was a solution, a real plan, a coach who didn't let me drift, and the weight just melted off. That's the only way I can describe it. And here's the best part that matters. It stayed off. I'm not bracing for it to come back. I've kept my 122 pounds off for well over a year, and it stayed gone. Have 35 to lose? Cakewalk. 50? Simple. If March for you is just another month, fine. But it could be your turning point. It was mine. Awaken180weightloss.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Still, present, ready. Farah doesn't flinch.
We on? All right. 1, 2, 3, go!
Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we keep you updated on the hockey game. Unfortunately, still Canada up 1-0 on the United States.
And they almost just got another too.
Yeah.
The wraparound, that was scary.
7:34 left in the third period. So need to get something done on offense,
That
ladies.
goalie's getting worn out, like you said. She's been taking a lot of stuff, a lot of shots on her, man. She's having a great game. It's got to be tiring.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's when you see him start slowing down a little bit, and that's when it gets a little scary.
Yeah. I love when the defenders come in, when they try to get that extra, and they come in and knock you down.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yes. What is it? 7 minutes. The shots are tied. I think 25 shots for us, 26 for them.
Yeah. Come on, USA. Let's go,
like we said,
baby.
we haven't been able to watch every second
Yeah.
because we're working, but it does feel like if I was to guess, I would have guessed that Canada's had the time of possession way more than the United States.
It feels like it. It sure feels like it.
Every time we look up, they have the puck.
Yeah, right.
They're dangerous too. All right, time now for Lauren's Lane.
Now, Lauren's Lane. Opened up by Closets by Design. Imagine your home totally organized.
So I was looking through a list of some college football hot seat candidates, and just to run through them, I think most people around here realize Mike Norvell is certainly on a hot seat. I would call it a scalding hot seat. Bill Belichick in North Carolina feels like he just got there, but things are not going according to plan there. Luke Fickell of Wisconsin, Dave Aranda of Baylor, Shane Beamer of South Carolina. I think that's because people had super high expectations for Lenore Sellers last year, and they did not have a very good season. But people always talk about buyouts, right? And that's why Mike Norvell won't be fired.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you look before the season last year at the top buyouts in college football, you had number 1, Jimbo Fisher. What happened with Jimbo Fisher?
Yep.
He was fired. Number 2, highest buyout, Brian Kelly with LSU.
Yep. Fired.
James Franklin, Penn State, 3rd highest buyout, fired. The 4th highest, Gus Malzahn,
Oh
Auburn,
my goodness.
21 million out the door, fired. Number 5, highest buyout, Billy Napier, 21.2 million, fired. I don't know that it matters at this point in time.
So does that make it more?
I guess this would have been 2 years ago because Mike Elko's been at A&M recently.
Yeah.
Or the last season or 2. But like, come on, man. Like, don't tell us that you can't fire someone because the buyout. I understand about the university's debt. But still, man, like this is nuts that all of those guys were fired even with buyouts over $20 million.
That feels like, like you're either all in or you're all out. You know what I mean? Like these other schools, programs are doing it. Don't. That's a sorry ass excuse. I'm sorry. I don't care what kind of debt you're in.
Right.
You got to figure that out. You guys got a ton of money. You got a ton
Fisher's buyout was 70.
I mean, come on, like
$6.8 million, and they fired him.
Yeah, I mean, like you got it. That's what you have to do. Now you're gonna give him another year, right? You're gonna get him this year.
Mike Norvell.
Yeah.
You
think they're gonna fire him before the season?
If they get off to a rough start,
during the season, yeah, of course. But
no, they're not gonna.
They're gonna go in. Yeah, they're gonna go in with him. Maybe he has a good year. I don't know. Who knows? But to sit there and say, we don't want to keep up with Penn State, Auburn.
Joneses.
I know it's not 21 million. It's more than that. I thought it was pretty high.
Norvell's
from what I
is
remember,
high.
50 or was it in that range? I don't know. I thought I heard that last time around. But that's sorry to me, Taylor. Like, come on, like, get in the game.
Outside of when you talk about the 2 years and the 2022 and 2023, outside of that, it's not good. I mean, you're like 13. I was trying to look real quick. So it's like 15 and 27 or something like that outside as for Mike Norvell and the Noles. And that's just at some point, because I think we talked so much about, okay, you need the quarterback, you need the coach, and that's a big conversation. And but you've now had the chance multiple times to try and find another good quarterback. Did you get lucky with, did you get lucky in the sense of finding that right quarterback to be able to help you?
7-20 without
7-20. Okay. And so were you lucky in finding Jordan Travis? And then now since then it's kind of caught up to you. And I feel like if you can only be good with one quarterback, you also have an issue, because now we're seeing guys like a Kurt Cignetti and what he's doing in Indiana with different quarterbacks. And so I feel like you start running out of excuses, because I do think that was the excuse at first was, okay, Jordan Travis got hurt. If Jordan Travis didn't get hurt, they make the playoff. What does that look like? And then the conversation may be a little bit different. But the problem is, since then, it's just been really, really bad football. And even in other categories, you talk about the defense and the run game was two things that were like, it's okay. Maybe they don't have the best quarterback, but they're going to be able to run the ball, and their trenches are going to be able to be good. And you're in the ACC, so you should still be able to win football games. And it just hasn't happened. So at some point, I mean, you've got to figure out a way to cut the cord, because this is just it's just gonna spiral. And at this point, it gets to you run out of excuses, and it makes your program look like you don't care.
There's no reason for Florida State not to be one of the top programs. You know what I mean? It's just not Florida, Miami too. They in top whatever. I'm not saying top 5, but in that top 15, top 20.
Miami was top 2.
Yeah, well, Miami was right.
And Miami was down for a long time, and everyone wondered, will the U ever come back? And then we saw a school like Tennessee. I remember one time I made a comment like, Florida State's on the same trajectory as Tennessee, which is basically irrelevant. And now we've seen with the right coach with Tennessee, Josh Heupel, Tennessee is absolutely relevant. Yeah. And if Florida State can get the next right coach, then of course they can be relevant and they can get the best talent. But who wants to go play for Mike Norvell right now?
Well, it's deeper than the QB, but he's missed on the last 2 QBs. I could have told him he missed on the last.
He's like, you did
tell him. Because you didn't love that he quit on the team.
You could say, well, he was okay. Yeah, but okay's not good enough for Florida State. Like, you got to hit on those. And for the record, Cignetti, congrats to him for hitting on Mendoza. hitting on, I forget who the guy was before, but hit on him as well, right?
It was Curtis
and
Rourke.
now he's going to do it again. And who did he grab?
Nathan
Fresno
Rourke's
State?
brother.
Who did he grab? He grabbed somebody from another West Coast school before the national championship game.
I think
and signed him.
TCU's.
Is it TCU? Okay. He's somewhere out there, but nonetheless, and his culture, right? He's got that too. So it's not just the QB. I'm not saying that, and I do think it's deeper with Norvell, but he did miss the last 2 years. And look, I knew nothing about the DJ kid until I saw him live against BC. Yeah, I didn't even want to try it because I knew I was going to butcher it.
DJU.
Yeah, DJU couldn't get anything done on the field is what his problem was. He was terrible, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, oh my gosh, this kid is absolutely horrendous. He couldn't hit any wide open. I mean, they were wide open. There were plays where he could have put us away, and he just missed them.
I went to one of the FSU practices because they were practicing at UNF,
Yeah, right,
and
I
media was
remember.
allowed to go, and everyone who walked away from those practices were like, why on earth did you? And no offense to DJ Uyunglele, but like you could tell that there was a reason that he was bouncing around from school to school. Although we've seen Cam Ward bounce to a couple different schools, and he was good, and Mendoza, and the list of things goes
it's
on.
changed a little bit recently, but I do think that. So someone on the text line said those schools are all the SEC and Big Ten. They have 50% more revenue per year than the ACC schools, and so I was just looking just to see. So after, if you're not talking about Big Ten and ACC, the next highest was Charlie Weiss for Notre Dame. He got paid $18.9 million. Behind that was Willie Taggart for Florida State, who was $18 million. So you are looking at
That's part of the problem, by the way.
That's
too.
what I was about to say. Is that could be included, and this is your why is this your buyout if you know you can't afford that buyout? Let's start there. But also not being able to get the revenue is huge for Florida State, and they're in a mess. I mean,
that extension is what killed them. It's because they didn't want Mike Norvell to leave to go to Alabama, and so they signed him to that long-term deal. And in that they had that massive buyout, and we're not. Unfortunately, we're not getting away from buyouts, but I wish that we could because it's just such a disaster for the university.
Well, look, they redid the stadium, right?
FSU Doak Campbell was redone.
I mean, they redid it. They were working on it when I was last there a couple years ago. I mean, I don't know, man. You put all that money into that, and then you're just going to go mediocre with the coach.
Right. LSU fired Ed Orgeron. His buyout was 16.9, and then they could still afford to fire Brian Kelly when they did this past season. His buyout was 53.8.
That's a lot of money.
You can't say that one school could do it, or we can't do it, and no other schools had to go through this because other schools have. And look what LSU just turned around and did. Paid Lane Kiffin.
If they have to fire him, I don't know what. I don't want to know what that buyout is. From 18 to 53 to I don't know what Lane.
Well, they do get half the revenue. You went over that, right? The Big Ten, the SEC was up around 70, and ACC was around 40 per team. Wasn't it around there?
We don't know the exact Big Ten payouts at this point in time yet, but Iowa in their revenue budget, I think, had like the figures of around 80 million.
Yeah.
And then projected from the Big Ten, and then the SEC paid out over 70 million, and then the ACC was
lower,
drop off,
dropped pretty much,
which I get, but
get a private donor. I don't know. Think of all your alumni.
Or just be smarter when you're making these contracts. Like, what are we doing?
Kiffin's buyout, it looks like, is $41.6 million, and he was signed to a 7-year, $91 million deal. But again, Indiana paid their
talk
guy.
to IMG. They found a way to get some money.
They actually do not talk to
get
IMG.
The cartels going,
do not
man.
get the Mexican
That's what Florida State should do.
I highly recommend not getting involved in that. Season 2 of Landman will prove that that's a bad idea. But I understand FSU is having an issue financially. I totally understand that. But to Tom's point, there's always if there's a will, there's a way. There's always a donor out there that is hopefully willing to help you out in these circumstances, because at this point in time you're sitting on a coach that 7-20 without Jordan Travis.
What about the Native American tribes that have casinos in Florida?
Like, isn't that tribe help FSU out?
Well, they have a ton of money. Those casinos do.
Casinos do, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, maybe, I don't know. Would people care? I wouldn't care. Brought to you by so casino.
That's probably an intellectual violation, but who knows?
And if you have a problem, it's the 1-800 number. I love those commercials. Like, here, you can gamble all you want.
But if you have a problem.
Guys, there's only about 2 minutes left in this gold medal game with Canada up 1-0. The United States just scored.
That was great.
That's why I said it like that. That's exactly
Way
why
to go.
I was like,
that was great.
I was like, empty net.
Yes. And
sorry, USA scored.
Comes through. Yeah,
2:04 left.
I hope you didn't have us on loud already because we just went through the roof. All right, we will head to break and tell you what happens in the final 2 minutes coming up. That way we're not screaming anymore. You're listening to Helmets and Heels 1010XL 92.5 FM.
Wherever you go, there we are.
I know. I checked online.
1010XL is on your smartphone and tablet. Download our free app for all devices and take us with you around Duval and around the world.
Could you imagine? There was a time you could just tell your kids to shut up, right to their face. No explanations, just shut up. How much easier would that have been? Why is the sun hot? I don't know. Why don't you shut up? Well, that was uncalled for.
Tom Papa Live in the Grateful Bread Tour. Saturday, February 21st, on stage at Florida Theater. Tickets are on sale now at floridatheater.com.
I know how awful it is to get injured out there, especially if it's because of someone's negligence. Hey, Tom McManus here, and if you get injured out there, there's only one number to call. It's Pound Law. That's all. Slip and fall, car wreck, wrongful death. It doesn't matter. Morgan & Morgan handles it all. The largest in the country, 100 offices, over 1,000 attorneys, and $30 billion recovered. That's the kind of team I want representing me. If you get hurt out there from someone else's wrongdoing, check out Morgan & Morgan for the people.com.
Frank Frangie here, and Big Chief Tire makes it easier than ever to get the tires you need with the Big Chief credit card. No annual fee, low monthly payments, and great promotional financing. Plus, you get free flat repairs and rotations, and right now, $50 off your first purchase when you sign up. I love how simple they make everything. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com to apply for the credit card and get the tires you need today. That's Big Chief Tire.
This is the kind of sandwich you don't rush. French dip at Firehouse Subs. Premium roast beef loaded with caramelized onions, melted provolone cheese, and topped with Italian seasoning. Stacked on a toasted garlic bread roll with hot au jus for dipping. For a limited time at Firehouse Subs.
Attention sports fans! Are you ready to take your game to the next level? Look no further than Best Bet. You can bet anywhere, but you'll definitely win here. Experience the thrill of sports like never before. With all the big games broadcasting live on our big screens and a menu stacked with your favorite foods and refreshing drinks, you're sure to find your winning ticket. Bet anywhere, win here, only at Best Bet. Visit bestbetjacks.com to learn more. That's bestbetjacks.com.
I'm here with Danny Van Sickle, Director of the Electrical Training Alliance. Danny, tell me about your program.
Hey, Rick. We're a 4-year electrical apprenticeship. Our students start out making over $40,000 a year, and right now make over $90,000 a year, including benefits. There is no tuition or student debt. You just have to apply and get accepted.
Did you say no tuition and no student debt?
You heard that right, Rick. Once you're accepted to the program, your only cost for the books and the course fees. About $800 a year.
That sounds like an amazing opportunity. How can I learn more?
Just go to etajax.org, and you can apply there.
Apply by May 14th.
For the ultimate and unique gift ideas, visit CoenFlowers.com. JJ LaSelva here, and no matter what the reason, Coen Flowers has it all. Sending flowers was never so easy. Online, on the phone, or in the showroom, Coen Flowers hits a grand slam home run every time.
I'm here with Clayton Bromberg of Underwood Jewelers. Clayton, I've heard you talk about the quality philosophy of Underwoods. Just what is that?
Frank, simply stated, the Underwood quality philosophy is fine jewelry and gifts will bring customers back and create new customers through the endorsements given to Underwoods by our satisfied customers. However, it's our definition of quality that's really been the Underwood difference, because quality has to go beyond materials and craftsmanship and has to include things like design, how it's presented, our service, our integrity, a customer's experience in our store, and the satisfaction a customer feels when they've chosen a special gift from Underwoods. A person or a company earns a reputation over a long period of time. And in Underwoods, we know that you earn your reputation every day, because that good reputation can be lost in a matter of days if you're not committed to doing the right thing for the long term.
That's Underwoods, serving excellence in North Florida since 1928 in San Marco, Avondale, or the shops of Ponte Vedra.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. When it's game time, Farah doesn't flinch. Now, the Monahan's golden moment. Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach, your local family jewelers.
We've been talking today a lot about, not directly, but a lot about how the Jaguars are doing things right. We started the show talking about Liam Coen and his leadership and his play calling. We moved on to talking about how the Bears have no idea what they're doing with the stadium, and the Jaguars have obviously already their plan set and only have to not be in Jacksonville, full, obviously limited capacity, but not being here fully for one season and then coming back. So I saw this tweet, and just to add on, just to kind of this thing that the Jaguars have done right, because there was obviously a lot of years where we questioned some of the things, but Warren Sharp posted this thing, and so he was talking about the Jets, and he said, the Jets have to be the least successful franchise in the NFL right now. And he says, number one, their owner is terrible. But number two, their quarterback moves are a nightmare. These are their quarterback acquisitions in recent memory. So let's just start. 2025 signed Brady Cook. 2025 signed Brady Cook, signed Justin Fields. In 2024, Adrian Martinez, Jordan Travis, obviously they signed him, Tyrod Taylor. And then in 2023, it was Trevor Siemian, Aaron Rodgers, which we know how that went, Tim Boyle. 2022, it was Chris Streveler. 2021, it was Zach Wilson. Obviously, they drafted him. In 2021, they traded for Joe Flacco. In 2020, they drafted James Morgan, and they signed Joe Flacco. In 2019, they signed Mike White, drafted Luke Falk, and then also signed Trevor Siemian that year. In 2018, they signed Teddy Bridgewater. They drafted Sam Darnold. In 2017, they signed Josh McCown, and they drafted Christian Hackenberg. In 2015, they drafted Bryce Petty, and they also traded for Ryan Fitzpatrick. In 2014, they drafted Taj Boyd and signed Michael Vick. And then in 2013, they drafted Geno Smith.
So all this time, they would have been better off having Geno Smith or Joe Flacco. Obviously, once he was no longer a Raven, could have had Joe Flacco at that point in time. By the way, because we went to break with the game still going on, the United States did tie Canada. They are now headed to overtime in this gold medal match. And with that goal from Hillary Knight, she is now the all-time leader in USA women's Olympic scoring history. So thank you, Hillary, for scoring with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left. But I think certain
24 quarterbacks since 2013 that they've traded or drafted.
It feels, and honestly, like Browns fans are sitting there like, hold my beer.
We've got this.
Like honestly, we've seen all the jerseys with all the different names on there, and look at this past season with the Browns. It was an utter disaster where you had the teams, or not the team, but the local media, the sports talk media would constantly keep track and tweet out the snaps that each quarterback was taking in practice, because they had to share, 4 different quarterbacks were getting snaps, and you still have Deshaun Watson on your roster. So there are certain franchises where it does feel like they just can't get the quarterback right. And I'm sure the Bears.
Chicago was that for. Correct. I mean, there's still people who, like, most people are like, yes, Caleb's it. But there's still Chicago fans that are like, I don't know. Let's see. It was one good season. Let's see what happens moving forward. And so they do. I think that some of it, the Bears are looking, they're like, okay, we were in a Super Bowl in 2006 and you won a couple playoff games. With the Jets and the Browns, they've had, it's been a lot of misery, and it doesn't feel like they're close to digging out of it. And I think that's what makes it worse, is when you're looking at this and the Browns have multiple quarterbacks, but now people are already like, okay, well, if they would have had the top pick, they probably would have drafted another quarterback because they're not confident in the ones they have. And
Which they should until they get the right guy. Like, does anyone think that Shedeur Sanders is a franchise quarterback? Does anyone think Dylan Gabriel at this point is a franchise
quarterback? Most people would say no at this point. And so just look at the Jets since 2016, their record since 2016, 5 wins, 4-7-2, 4-7-7, 5-3. And then they had a 10-win season in 2015. And then before that, it was 4-8-6-8. It's just looking at that. And so as we're just talking about the good things and sometimes being like, okay, look, there's a lot of people out there that, not a lot, it's dwindled down a little bit. The text line had a few the other day of still like, I don't know, I need to see more of Trevor. At least you're not dealing with that. At least you're not dealing with stadium things still. At least you're not dealing with not knowing if your coach is the right coach. And those are some of the things where you feel like you're finally have turned the page in this organization of like, okay, now let's just go win football games consistently.
Yeah. I mean, look, the reality is you got to have the QB, but you also got to have the supporting cast for that QB. Case in point, Sam Darnold. He walks right into Seattle. You knew he's got all the tools. He's not going to carry. He's not going to be an all-pro type thing. He'll have some really good games. He'll have some games where he's not, really doing that much in the game to help you win. But at the end of the day, he's a winner, and he showed it. And without that support, he probably doesn't have that success, right? And that's what's the challenge. Like, because when you draft a quarterback high, you normally stink. Your team's no good. and then you don't have enough resources to get the next important, your left tackle. And then the next important, your pass rusher, or your stud wide receiver, or your stud corner, or now your right tackle. You know what I mean? Like you got to have it all.
Yeah.
It's hard for these QBs to survive and grow and really become anything with it. Like Darnold to the Jets, look, hindsight's 2020. They should have kept Teddy and Sam together for many years and let them grow and let them figure it out, and let Teddy help Sam and vice versa. But, you get antsy, you got to win. And your the coaches, there's so much heat on them. They're getting paid a ton of money, but they got to win. And if they don't have the QB, it's hard for them to win. Look at the Browns with Stefanski. When they went to the playoffs, who they have? Flacco?
Mm-hmm.
He was just stable. Like, he was a stable QB. Like, he's not going to, be this unbelievable superstar, but he's also not going to kill you. He can run your offense and make it efficient, and you got everything else going for you. It just shows you that if you have at least a solid QB with everything else, great defense, O-line, good running game, you can make you can do some damage.
The question I always have is, do we have quarterbacks that are backups or third string that are good but never get the opportunity to prove it and never actually get, the experience, maybe preseason, but outside of that, they don't actually get to see. So, I just wonder, and this is a bad example, probably Kyle Trask, because he, I think, has had a little playing time in the NFL, but just to take him for example, would he potentially be good with the right system and weapons
can actually get developed and get reps?
Sure,
because that's what you talk about a lot is the reps, and you talk about even Trevor, and you're like, okay, well, the first year doesn't count because of Urban Meyer and everything was dysfunctional. And I heard someone the other day, a quarterback guy, say you feel like you need to see the reps are what start making a quarterback better. You can learn the playbook, you can know the system, and you can do all of that things. You can know you have an arm, you can take off if you need to. But if you're not getting those reps and getting hit and learning to read the defenses and knowing what to do at the line of scrimmage, all of that only comes when you're actually playing games.
Which is why it was crazy that the Colts drafted Anthony Richardson 4th overall, because he only had 13 starts in college. But like a Gardner Minshew
too.
Yeah, Gardner Minshew is a guy that was never supposed to start in the NFL, right? Nick Foles, had he not snapped his collarbone in that first game, we don't see Gardner Minshew. And I'm not saying Gardner Minshew is a franchise quarterback can win a Super Bowl, but look at some of the results were good with Gardner Minshew. Not great, but good. And that's just a guy that we would never have seen play in the NFL, most likely.
Was Brock Purdy supposed to be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
No, I didn't think so.
Yeah, no, clearly not. A lot of
31
teams didn't.
Well, really 32 teams didn't think he was a starter because
they didn't also for 6
him
rounds.
Exactly. The very last pick in the draft. Mr. Irrelevant.
Right. No, but that's that doesn't happen a lot,
Right.
On occasion,
but that's what I just wonder, are there any quarterbacks out there that don't get that development or don't get the experience?
I think you gotta be able to rip it, and he's got to know. All the starting QBs, the days of, remember Chad Pennington? What would they say about him? He's got great anticipation, which meant he doesn't have the best arm, but he throws it on time. And if you throw it on time, you can make up for it. I think those days are over. I think defenses are too fast.
Yeah,
they're too fast. Those holes close way too fast. You got to have a cannon. What else do you have to have? You got to have legs.
Yeah.
Today's game, you got to be able. Our guy Dave Kluge, who was on early, he's like, "Hey man, about Mendoza, we'll see. He's going to be more of a pocket, but he's got to be able to run. He's got to be able to move."
And
That's
Mendoza showed that in the national championship.
He can run. I think he can run a little bit.
He's got mobility. And
he's got enough. He's got enough mobility, but you have to have both of those. So I think, to answer your question, backup QBs, I think most of them are backups because they're really smart. They help the starter.
Sure.
If you're needed, they can help you. At least. Carry the load for a little bit, but they're backups for a reason. They're missing something, whatever that is. It could be just that extra oomph on their throw, whatever. Maybe they don't move as well out of the pocket. Maybe they don't see things as well, but they understand the game.
Sure.
And they understand the playbook, and they know, I always felt like grunts, you make the best coaches because you're A, you see how stars are treated, so you can figure that out. And B, you need the grunts.
Yeah.
You need those guys that aren't superstars, but are just good football players.
Yeah, I always appreciate the guys on the practice squad. They don't, obviously they get a decent amount of salary, but they don't get obviously nearly what some of these guys make. And they're out there working just as hard. They just may not have the talent, but absolutely. All right, one segment to go. Pest of the day on the other side. Keep it right here. Helmets and Heels, 1010X on 92.5 FM.
If your home doesn't have a fireplace, CSS can install a beautiful electric or gas fireplace from Heat & Glow with no major remodel required. See their showroom or cssoutdoor.com for a free estimate. CSS, you dream it, we build it.
Jacksonville Nimnick Buick GMC is kicking off tax season with prices that are better than ever. Frank Frangie here. Are you looking for a dealership that actually makes car buying easy? Well, at Nimnick, you'll find unbeatable savings, a huge selection of Buicks and GMCs, plus flexible financing that fits your budget. Whether you're looking for a new SUV, a work-ready truck, or a certified pre-owned, they've got you covered. Backed by trusted service and transparent deals. And the best prices in Jacksonville. NimnickBuickGMC.com or visit the showroom off Phillips Highway. GMC, we are professional grade.
Hey, Jacksonville DDH. Dreamfinders Danny Hicken here with the scoop from Dreamfinders Homes, your national builder of the year. We've got first-year interest rates as low as 2.99% and homes in 20-plus communities throughout Northeast Florida. If you're house hunting, make sure your first pick Dreamfinders Homes, the proud official home builder of the PGA Tour, the Florida Gators, and your Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit dfhsalesevent.com today and tell them Dreamfinders Danny sent you.
Jacksonville, you voted, and Baker Glass came out on top. The Bold City Best Awards are all about locals choosing their favorites, and you picked them for Best Auto Glass and Best Glass and Mirror Service.
I'm back with Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Zero Res Month of Love Sale. Hicken here. Not only is your carpet one of the biggest investments in your home, it's also the biggest air filter in your home. If your carpet hasn't been professionally cleaned, you're breathing unhealthy levels of nasty dirt, dander, bacteria, and germs that keep recirculating again and again. Lucky for you, Zero Res is going to spread the love to you and your home. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $149. Book online at ZeroResJacksonville.com and say you want the 1010 XL or Dan Hicken Special.
Zero Res.
Spring is almost here. Is your yard ready? Lucas Tree Service, a family-owned business with over 45 years of experience, is your local certified arborist for tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for residential or commercial properties. Protect your home, boost your curb appeal, and get top-notch service from a Jacksonville company. Make sure your trees are healthy and safe before summer hits. Schedule your tree inspection today at lucastreeservice.com.
What Baltimore Orioles player received a 22-minute standing ovation?
For over 20 years, Southern Oak Insurance has given Floridians a better alternative to their current homeowner's policy. See what you can get with Southern Oak. Log on to southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
Cal Ripken holds the record of playing 2,632 consecutive games. On his final game, the Oriole great received a 22-minute standing ovation.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
I'm starting to realize being a homeowner isn't all upside, Jason.
I mean, it does give you a place to live.
Yeah, but now suddenly I need to know the names of all the people I need to look after my house.
Like who?
Like if my air conditioner breaks in the middle of the heat wave, I need to know who I call to fix it.
That's me. You know me.
But what if my water heater dies or my toilet backs up?
That would also be me. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
Okay, fine, but what about my duct cleaning and my water filtration and my sewer drain? Where am I going to find all those guys if something goes wrong? I'm just a guy with a house and a dream and...
This pair of sunglasses.
Whoa.
Bueller Air and Plumbing is the only name you need to know. Our club members even get 2 free visits a year, so you know we're there when you need us.
Well, that's cool.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
1010XL, presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Focused, fueled, fearless, Farah.
Come over here, sit next to me. We can see what
Hey, it's all Tom McManus, RJ Saunders. I'm Lauren Brooks with you as we wind down on this Thursday afternoon. We'll turn it over to the Frangie Show in just a second. And by the way, they are at UNF tonight. UNF plays host to Austin P. That game tips off at 7 o'clock. So head on out to UNF Arena to see the guys and also the game. JU, unfortunately, last night lost to Florida Gulf Coast 86-84.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's a killer. And JU typically has such good defense, so to allow that many points is surprising. But also, they don't always have such great offense. So to score 84 and lose, Yeah, dang is right. All right, time now for today's Terminix Pest of the Day is always brought to you by our friends at Terminix. You can find them online at Terminix.com. That's TERMINIX.com. They take care of all of the pest control issues at our house, at Everbank Stadium, at ViStar Ballpark, and ViStar Veterans Memorial Arena. All of your favorite event venues around town. Terminix does a fantastic job, and you can trust their technicians. The Pest of the Day, I feel like people saw this one coming a mile away. The 2 Georgia players that were arrested for bad driving. Let's just add it to the list. Reckless driving.
Again.
Yeah, charged with reckless driving and speeding maximum limits, both misdemeanors, so at least there's that. But the problem, obviously, is the overarching thing, and that's the fact that Kirby Smart has had, and I don't have the number in front of me, but has had, it feels like 15 to 20 different players that have had some sort of driving issues. And so I don't know what's going on there, and I understand, yes, Georgia police may be a little bit more strict or stricter than some other states, but still, if your teammates get busted, even if they were years prior to you, you should still know. And Kirby, come on, Kirby, get your players to drive the speed.
Is there nothing to do in Athens? Like, you just got to race each other? Like, I mean, after a while, like, you got to stop the race.
Yeah. Athens has a good live music scene.
Yeah, I thought they would have plenty to do up there.
But yeah.
I guess not. Let's go racing.
Yeah, so with a quick search, since January 2023, over 20 to 25 is what it says.
Yeah, more than I even remembered.
Yeah.
And how fast is it? Are we doing 100? What are we doing? 80? What are we doing? 50 and a 30?
I haven't heard on this one specifically. A lot of the ones you've read previously were like surpassing 100.
Yeah, that's
Well, it says speeding maximum limits, not just a speeding ticket. So I feel like that there's that threshold that maybe like 25 over the speed limit, and then if that's that, then it's the speeding maximum.
Yeah, I told you on break I saw a meme on Twitter, and it was like the new patches Georgia football's gonna wear this year, and it's just the speed limit 65 sign on their uniform. Guys.
I got caught doing 115 once.
What?
Yeah.
Were you on a
19.
Desolate highway?
No, 95, going south, spring break, trying to get to this house that a bunch of co-eds were staying in. We only had a few days to get there and back. So, yeah, but it was bad. My dad was so mad. I had to go back down to court, and I don't know what they did to me. I can't remember.
Well,
but
not enough, I guess, because I didn't remember.
I don't do 115 anymore,
well,
Taylor.
That's good.
I don't do 115. No, I'm under the 3 digits most of the time.
Job. Yeah, that's the smart thing to do. By the way, in baseball last night, UNF beat Florida A&M 15-4 in 7 innings. Florida beat Stetson 9-3, and in softball, Florida beat UNF 10-0 in 5 innings here in Jacksonville. So a little bit of a rough outing for the Ospreys last night, but they did better the night before. And scoring at least 3 runs against Florida. All right, since I'm mentioning UNF, let's head out and say hello to the Frangie Show at UNF Arena.
Now, the 2-minute drill is driven by nobody but Nimnicht. Nimnicht Chevrolet on Cassett Avenue and Nimnicht Buick GMC on Phillips Highway.
Hayes, are you able to watch this hockey game right now?
We are not able to watch it, so I'm relying on you guys. We're in overtime, is that correct?
We are in overtime, yeah.
Started.
Hillary Knight scored her 15th goal in Olympic play and now leads the United States in Olympic goals all time. But yeah, with 2 minutes and 4 seconds left to go.
All right, well, the men got it done in overtime yesterday, so hopefully the women can follow suit and claim the gold medal. That would certainly be exciting. We'll keep everybody posted on that if it is still going on by the time the Frangie Show starts. And we got a lot of great guests coming up. Lee Smith, the executive director of the Players Championship, will join us at 5 o'clock. He will be here with us at UNF at 4:15. Bobby Kennan, UNF coach, will join us to talk about this matchup tonight against a 13-1 Austin Peay team leading the A Sun. So a difficult challenge tonight for the Ospreys. And Nick Morrow, the UNF athletic director, will join us at 5:15. So loaded lineup coming up on the Frangie Show, and we're certainly looking forward to it.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much, Hayes.
Thank you.
Beauty.
Yeah, so Canada almost scored there.
I know they did.
But did not score, so that is
So
the good news.
what is the format? I know it's 3-on-3, but is it sudden death or is it?
It's golden goal.
Next goal is going. Done. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's what's stressful about this.
But exciting too, you know? It's like
stressful.
My heart just goes like a million
When Canada
miles
has the puck, stressful, exciting when the United States has the puck.
that's right.
Yeah.
You're
like, go, no.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah, she had a breakaway.
Yeah, she had a breakaway. a couple of good defensive plays early already for USA women.
Speaking of UNF basketball, UNF plays host to JU in the second edition of the River City Rumble Saturday, February 28th. So not this Saturday, but next Saturday, tipping off at 6 p.m. And we've secured our tickets.
We did. We will be there. This was my first Rumble.
All right.
I'm excited.
I've been to Rumbles at both multiple times, and they're so much fun. They're absolutely a blast. And a lot of times at the UNF version or edition of it, Jags players come out. I've seen Faye Lewican there with other guys too. Josh Heinzallen has been there in the past as well. And by the way, yesterday, one of my friends was at a park in Jax Beach and sent out a group text or sent out a picture to the group text of Trevor Lawrence with some of her kids. And one of her kids, she has twin boys. One of her kids refused to be in the picture because he's a Buccaneers fan.
I love that. I love the loyalty.
But I know, I thought that was cute. Her other two children are Jags fans, and I just thought it was great. She said that all the adults left Trevor and his wife alone, but the little kids did ask for a picture, and so another little kid took it. So
that's cute.
I was like, way to go,
a little kid. He's like, I got it, guys.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do.
Or the parents are like, hey, get over there.
Can you go get a picture?
Yeah, exactly.
They're gonna say no to us, but you go say please.
He's just. I will give him credit. He's always so gracious with his time when it comes to people. Every single time you see a picture of like the restaurant posting a picture with someone, an employee and Trevor, or other people that I know that have gotten to meet him, different places.
Yeah.
And
they're out and about everywhere. That's the thing about them too. They're just like at the coffee shops and at Angie's and at all these places. And I've never heard anybody say they wouldn't say hey or take a picture. It's not that type of situation, but it is cool when you have the people that are kind of like, well, this is for the kids,
Exactly. Yeah. I thought that was great.
And she does a great job. We see her in the terrace suites for game days.
Yes.
I've seen her. This was a couple years ago. Did I ever tell you this story? Christina and I are sitting out on the terrace suites, and Trevor just threw a pick, and she like sitting on the back.
Yeah, you did tell me.
And she jumped off like you can tell inside, and she's racing towards the door, and some little girl just stepped in front of her like, hey, and she totally changed. She said, oh yeah, and me and Christina are like, wow, that was really impressive, man. Because
it's hard to do.
Very hard to do.
And Marissa has said like she's more competitive than Trevor is because she played college soccer.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, there are just some people. I understand how these people are that you're competitive in everything you do and you hate losing.
Yeah,
it really hurts. All right. Well, hopefully the United States wins. That'll do it for us today. For Taylor Dahl, Tom McManus, RJ Saunders, I'm Lauren Brooks. These heels are made for tucking. We will talk to you tomorrow, but go USA.
One of these